Nainital. She cleared UGC NET in the year 1998 and taught in MBA HRM and IR program at Lucknow University and MBA program in Department of Management Studies, Kumaon University, Nainital. She is currently working as professor in the Institute of Business Management, Chhatrapati Shahuji Maharaj University, Kanpur. She is also member of steering committee constituted by Department of Higher Education, Uttar Pradesh, to design the roadmap for implementation of NEP 2020 in state universities in UP. She has been supervising MBA, MPhil and PhD students in their endeavor. She has organized as well as presented research papers in various conferences in the area of human resource management. I request Director Ma'am to kindly welcome by presenting her a sapling. Our next guest for the day is Mr. Sumit Jhingan GM-HR, the India Thermit Corp Limited. He is a postgraduate in science with PG diploma in HRM and gold certificate in strategic HRM from IIM Calcutta. He carries an overall experience of 21 years and most of his experience lies in reputed manufacturing industries of Kanpur. Currently, he is designated as GM-HR at India Thermit Corporation Limited. He is responsible for all HR matters across the company like HR planning, recruitment and selection, performance reviews, employee relations, administration, etc. I request CEO Sir, kindly welcome Sir by presenting him a sapling. Thank you, sir. Let us introduce to the next guest Mr. Farhan Ahmad, GM Talent Acquisition HR, RSPL, who has 18 plus years of experience in talent acquisition, training, human resource management, demonstrated with proven success in talent acquisition and training, worked with organizations like American Express, RR Info Solutions, NIIT, Accenture, and now RSPL Limited. I request Dean Academics to kindly welcome Sir by presenting him a sapling. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to welcome Ms. Charu Chaturvedi, AGM-HR, Superhouse Education Foundation. She is an experienced human resource manager with a demonstrated history of working in textile industry, skilled in soft skills, talent management, HR consulting, employee engagement, and organizational development. Strong human resource professional with a PGDM focus in HR from Dr. Gaur Hari Singhania Institute of Management and Research. I request Dean Academic Sir to kindly welcome ma'am by presenting her a sapling. Thank you, ma'am. Lastly, I would like to welcome Mr. Abhishek Chandra, Head Human Resource, Dainik Jagran Inext. He is a strategic human resource leader with demonstrated skills in driving scale and global business results through collaboration with executive leadership teams. With 18 years of experience in HRD, he has worked with American Express Emphasis Limited and Medma Informatics as its global HR head. In his current assignment, he heads HRD of Dainik Jagran Inext, Jagran Prakashan Limited. He has worked in rapid growth startup environments as well as mature, established multinational companies. His area of focus includes talent acquisition and development, compensation and equity, design, merger and acquisition integration, HR analytics metrics. I request CEO Sir to kindly welcome Sir by presenting him a sapling. Thank you, sir. We would like to thank Ms. Charu Chaturvedi to join our director as co-moderator of the session. Now, I would like to request Director Ma'am to please join the panelists on the stage. Thank you. Respected CEO Dr. Gupta sir, kindly begin the session and guide us with your knowledge and experience.
Although it is a good afternoon, but I am speaking as a good morning everybody, whosoever present over. All the distinguished panelists, all the faculty members, all the delegates and participants from various other institutions, and our director, Dr. Divya Chaudhary. I have the only experience, I cease to be a knowledgeable man, because the last 25 years probably I have not read anything other than the papers and few books. However, when this topic was taken, that skill based hiring, it is a new normal. I have to say that in a new world, new dynamics, new skill should be adopted. When we talk about hiring, we used to see and hear degree-based hiring. The degree from university, degree from any professional institutions, and therefore it has created a great void in the society, in the corporate sector. Nowadays, all the distinguished panelists, they are dealing HRD and HRM. They must be feeling the jolt of how to retain the talent and how to hunt the talent. And therefore, nowadays, it is being discussed all over the world that we should just give away and we should not focus ourselves completely on the degree-based hiring. It should be skill-based hiring. There are certain, this skill-based hiring words came, if I remember properly, a decade ago, after the Great Depression of 2008 and 9, and later on the inflationary pressure in 11 and 12, it was considered that we should change our system sometime. And nowadays we are also hearing and reading day in and day out skill creation in this country, innovations, skill creation, new startup, and therefore what are the essence of the skill hiring? There are various parameters and these panelists will discuss those things. There are problems whether we should give away all the degrees, we should not require any degree for the any type of post or any level of management, or what should be the blending of it, how to scale the skill of a candidate and applicant. These are the problems they will have to face nowadays when they are just shifting to the skill-based hiring. I understand it was in 17 to 19, and after the pandemic, the whole system dynamics of the country, of the world had changed, and therefore this skill-based hiring has assumed a very prominent place in the society. What is skill-based hiring? Under this skill-based hiring, now there is a more problem for the HR managers, HRD managers, because you have to advertise the post not on the basis of this BTech, MTech, MBA and MCA. You have just to specify the various skill you require for your organization. You have to specify that we are just seeking such type of person having these are the skills, and therefore only degree is not required. Degree may be or may not be. In India, you know that there are so many persons, they have got a lot of skills, but on account of their financial position, their locational imbalances, they are unable to take and join any technical institute and getting 4 years degree courses. And therefore it was considered that we should just hire such type of persons who have got the skill and they can give good input to the organization. Therefore, but we have to find out such a persons. This is for the fresh hiring. Nowadays, apart from the fresh hiring, we have also to see the present existing employees in the corporate organizations. Now a new mantra should be there. If a new dynamic system is there, new global world order is there. Now these employees, how to remain, how to be kept satisfied, and therefore sometime I used to say that reskilling and upskilling their present employees. All the employees, they should be given some fresher courses, they should be given some incentives that they should upskill their skill so that they be more useful and they should be retained in the organization. And secondly, we have nowadays we have to relearn. We have to relearn again, reskill ourselves, those employees, upskill and relearning. And therefore these two things should be adopted by the HRD managers in their organizations. There are so many problems we will be facing because we have in my mind even we have a problem. What would be the use of the degrees nowadays? Whether it is for the middle level management or it is for the higher level management or it is only for the less than the middle level management. What type of employment should be on the skill basis, and the parameters and the measurement of the skill should be fit properly, and this is the problem these HRD managers and HRM managers in the various corporate organizations have to face if we go there. But we have to go because I understand it has a lot of advantages to the corporations. We have to, everybody say we are not finding employable persons coming from the technical institute, BTech, persons coming from MBA, and when you employ them, they have to train them properly for 1 year and 6 months, and their cost is more because they are coming from the technical institute, spending 4 years, and therefore we sometimes use the word, this degree inflation is there, and therefore they have to pay a lot of money to the institutions for taking a degree, and therefore cost of hiring is also very high for the corporate organizations. Person who have not the degree but skill is there, and if he is appointed by way of certain procedure, then you will find that he will stay longer period in the organization. He will be able to complete his knowledge by adopting various methods by the HRM. I remember a few years ago, I was telling that Tata group, they were not hiring much more MBAs. They were going to Delhi and Bangalore and Sriram College and good colleges. They were just taking BCom, and they used to give 1 year and 1.5 year and 6 month training according to the need of the organizations. The cost of hiring is less. Cost of selecting is the less. You know the various procedure of advertising, then start listing the applications, then written test and interviews and so many things you have to do, and for all these things there is a cost, and therefore this is all eliminated if you go for the skill hiring, With these words, these panelists are very experts. They will be dealing and they will be answering your questions. I have not studied on the skill hiring because it is very new for me. However, whatsoever I understand by my knowledge and understanding, this skill hiring is taking place all over the world. Various organizations, they are spending crores and billions of rupees for their employees, upskilling and reskilling of their employees, and therefore I think that the problem of getting the 4 years degree and unemployment, it will be solved by the skill hiring, and therefore in India great emphasis is being for the skill creations, innovations, new startup. And with these words I hand over this mic to moderator to carry on the further proceeding. Thank you very much.
Recruitment process since last 15 years, over 15 years, and which the thing which I look in a candidate, especially the fresher candidates, especially when I go for the campus interview, because all the students, they are of the same level, same education background. What the thing which I look is the summer training or the apprenticeship, what they have done. See, this is something which you, but through this summer training, you can have an idea of the company, the culture, the corporate culture of the company, the area in which you are going. So for me, apprenticeship or summer training is very, very important because you get to know what kind of skills you must be having when you are on the job, and you also know the culture of the company, the culture of the job which you would be doing. So main thing is the thing which I look is for the fresher, basically for the summer training, what they've done. Most of the students, what they do is they write that they have done some kind of summer training, but exactly hota kya hai? They go to that place for one day. The person tells कि यार हो गया तुम्हारा, तो when you come to the last day and collect your certificate. So never do this kind of thing, please. Hota kya hai? Because once you do this kind of practical things, you will be on ease. कि चलो मेरे पास सर्टिफिकेट आ गया, I have the certificate. But exactly the culture, the learning, the skills which you were supposed to learn, वो आपने नहीं किया. And this we catch up during the interview. आपने किया क्या? You say कि मैंने ये किया, but exactly you have not done that. So please try to concentrate on the summer trainings. I know in the pandemic it is being difficult, but try to find out how you can get these kind of summer trainings, maybe from work from home कुछ मिल जाए. Please emphasize on these summer trainings.
That's pretty true, and we are also emphasizing on these summer trainings this time. I think most of my students sitting over here, specifically of MBA, must be agreeing with me that you all have a good summer training right now in your hands. Please focus on as Thursday. As I move ahead, Charu ma'am, something with you. What do you think that the new normal which is coming, or your organization is seeing a change in the recruitment process, or how does the recruitment goes in your organization?
So thank you a lot, everyone present here. After pandemic, definitely post-pandemic, what are we going through? We are also not clear that what we really want from the candidates sometimes, and candidates are also not clear. So the point is, what we see, there's summer training, as Mr. Sumit rightly said, that's something which is very important. But right now, I don't know how they have done their internship. So one thing which is that it is there that what is the attitude a person is carrying? Because if a person is with a positive attitude, a new student who has that feel in mind that I have to do something. Nowadays we see that students come to me and they say that, "Ma'am, we are not hard workers. Actually, we are smart workers." So, and when you ask them that what is the difference between being hard worker and a smart worker, it's very difficult for them to explain. So what I just like to tell them is that every time worker is only a winner. First you have to do a hard work, then only you will learn that how can you become a smart worker. So for me, the positive attitude in a person is really very important while going in for a placement, a final placement, or for that matter, summer internship. Farhan sir, you want to say something?
you all hear me, right? I can't hear you.
Yes, sir.
For me, what actually, the first thing that I notice in any of the candidates that I meet is their behavior. That is very, very important for me. Because confidence and behavior is something that would take you places. Overconfidence would not take you anywhere. Confidence and behavior is something that would take you to places. For me, to go and hire somebody, I definitely I would agree with my colleagues also. Summer internship and everything is important, but I give importance to behavior. As in, I just the way that you come in, the way that you go and the kind of thought process that you have, and even if you're not that skilled, look, we as an organization, we need 365 people almost every day, almost 300 to 400 people every day. So skilling them is not a task because that's what we have various departments for. But behavior is something that is inbuilt. You cannot change that. Well, that would take ages for a person to go and change. So this is something that I really
Practically speaking, of very, very good advice for everybody. That behavior is something inbuilt. But obviously, you can always polish it, or you can always learn it from others that what is good, and you can bring it in your own behavior and nature also. This Abhishek sir, I have something to ask from you. So, what are the recent challenges you see or you are facing during the recruitment process?
first of all, I'd like to say that we are post-pandemic. We are looking into a book of which is very ambiguous. That's it. We do not know what are the expectations of the students or the candidate, fresh candidates, and what are we looking for. So, as you rightly said, we look for a behavioral traits, and it is a very complex thing to judge someone on a behavioral traits because I do not have the background of a candidate, a fresh candidate, right? Experienced candidate, I can map the behavioral traits to lots of profiling, like we use a scientific profile for Thomas profiling test, right? We run through all the candidates, and we get a scientific outcome of how the behaviors are being modified under stress or something like such. So, we look for a cultural fit. When I say I'm not limiting myself to diversity, I am filling up a culture. Yeah. So, in the recent times, our challenges are yes, functional gaps are there. Functional gaps are there when we look for a fresh candidate to hire. But we see that those gaps could be filling. How those gaps could be filling? We looked into their internships. Pandemic has has given us lots of stress, but at the same time has given us more time to think and what to do. So we have got lots of free time. We can do small capsules of internships which are functionally related. So we see there is a huge gap in the functional skill. Behaviors, of course, we need to, as you rightly said, I cannot train someone to become curious, right? Curiosity is something which is infinite. If I want to know something, I will go for it. So this has been a recent challenge with me, where I have lots of open positions for my organization. So I have lots of open positions for my organization. But when we do a functional test, there's I hardly get say my success rate of hiring a time to gap, the position to fill ratio. It's somewhere around out of 22 candidates, I'm able to lock in one candidate. I have to wait for 90 days of notice period. But when I'm talking about experienced candidate, 89th day says I have another offer. Thank you so much for your efforts. So experience recruitments are very very difficult nowadays. Fresh, of course, we do lots of campus recruitments, and yes, we see lots of potential in candidates. So what happens? I'll tell you one thing. Anyone in the hall can tell me what is the rejection or acceptance of a candidate average in the interview. this time ITV takes? Are you able to understand my question? If you are going to attend an interview, how much time will an interviewer will take to hire you or reject you? This is a global average.
You can give an answer
Any
to this
random
question randomly.
10 minutes. Any other answer? 5 to 10 minutes. My dear friend, it is 18 seconds. 18 seconds में क्या होता है? You have just entered and sat. उसमें इंटरव्यू खत्म हो जाता है. So, so that's lots of biasness in the interview process because we involve our functional heads also in the interview process. So, lots of internal queries we do to overcome these challenges.
I think everybody agrees to what he said. Like I just heard Charu ma'am murmuring with Sumit sir that is pretty true. That's pretty true. That within seconds, you are being selected or you are being rejected. And emphasis has always been by the institutions or the teachers or the faculty here also that please focus on your body language as well as not only body language, I think personality traits also do matter somewhere. With this, Anshu ma'am, we are sailing on the same boat as faculty. My simple query with you is that we have seen a change in the recruitment process these days, the way the companies are. Do you think that skilling is important and how?
First of all, good afternoon, everyone, and I would just want to thank Professor Gupta sir, with whom I've been associated for so many years, and of course Divya ma'am for inviting me. And it is always a pleasure to be amongst the students, whether they are in the campus of Chhatrapati Shahuji Maharaj University or they are in any management institution. And then my second love for the HR profession. It's a wonderful profession if you are going into the area of HR. I always believe that every student, every person should be an HR manager. That's what I believe. Because if you are an HR manager, probably you will see all aspects of a human being sitting in front of you. For us, it is like a scanning being done. When the person comes and sits here, the moment you open your mouth, the moment you speak one sentence, I can read everything about you. And I tell my students that even if you don't speak, actually when I come face to face with you and I see your body language, I see your facial expression, and that tells me everything. Whether you are there in the class or you are physically present but mentally absent, that also we can make out. So you have to, somehow be an expert in observing human behavior and probably predicting human behavior. So with time and with experience that you gain, I think everybody must try to become a very good judge of the behavior of people. So the skills, of course, you must have seen in your own institute that everybody is talking about enhancement of skills. I would again, talk about the era just before the pandemic era, and now the post-pandemic era. We see a lot of changes as far as the students in our classrooms are concerned. But yes, there is one thing in common, which I would say maybe you would call it a generation gap, that our expectations are very high in terms of your behavior, in terms of the effort that you put in. But somehow we keep advising you, we keep telling you that how exactly should be your behavior, what kind of skills must you imbibe, so as to be able to present yourself. Each one of us wants, as a teacher, I think Divya ma'am would agree with me, that as a teacher we want that when you sit before somebody for the interview, you should always look confident, and the recruiter should ask you, which institute? Why this particular institute? And your answer should be very confidently, yes sir, I am proud to be a member of this institute and I represent my institute before you. You can ask me anything you want. So that's the kind of confidence actually you need to invite. And how would you do it? Confidence without knowledge, is that possible? Many a times, you feel that you're either handsome or you're beautiful. But being beautiful or being handsome does not matter at all, because the shine, sometimes you believe in putting a lot of makeup on your face, but that doesn't count, because the shine will automatically be there on your face when you have a lot of knowledge. So, when we enter classrooms, we are full of confidence because we have knowledge. And I know any question that you ask, I'll be able to handle that properly. So we keep motivating you, but how many respond? That's the question. When you talk about skilling people, and we have 2 years, they have 18 seconds to judge you, but we have 2 years with you so that we can, groom you in such a manner so that when you go and sit before somebody, it is a wonderful experience for both. But then how many rarely taken when you are attending, when we are calling people from the industry? Because we always believe that industry academia interface is definitely very essential, and I'm so very happy to be here today, that there's one academician in between all the industrialists, and that has to be there. Sometimes you have all academicians, sometimes you have all industrialists, and therefore an interaction between the industrialist and the academician does not take place. So that has to be there. So therefore, I strongly believe that there shouldn't be just 10% of you who would take these sessions seriously. 100% of you must take these sessions seriously and ask a lot. Whatever doubts you have in mind regarding your future, whatever doubts you have regarding what kind of skills you should have, ask questions, as many as possible. We teachers will always be proud when you ask us questions, and if we can help you, move ahead in your life. So skill building is essential. In another round, I'll be talking about the specific skills that we are trying to give to our students in higher education because of the national education policy. How will that make a difference in coming times? And all my colleagues, all my friends sitting here will observe that in coming times, skill will definitely be enhanced, because we have a plan in mind and we are implementing that plan, and I'm sure that will make a lot of difference in the students that are currently pursuing this process. So thank you.
I would like to add one thing, why skills are important. Any job never demands for a degree. 4 degree honi chahiye, 3 degree honi chahiye. No. It is the HR managers who demands for a degree, right? हम लोग what try to find it out if this person has degree, so he must be having this kind of skills. So this is the very very important thing. Never think कि job wants that degree. No, we only need a person which is having skill in some kind of particular kind of role. So for a BCom, let's say if I am looking for an accounts person into maybe into income tax or maybe into GST, so what mine will say BCom. So degree is the first thing which comes in our mind, in our HR manager mind, but job never demands any kind of degree.
Perfectly, I totally agree with sir. As well as before moving ahead to the second round of discussion, I would totally agree with Anshu ma'am that we also keep emphasizing with you that beauty is always required with grace. As she said, putting up a lot of makeup or presenting yourself as a blah 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 what you are. Sir said that we read you in 18 seconds. That is pretty true. Until unless you're not going to gain knowledge, brain is not going to be functional. Your left and right chambers are not going to be activated until unless you are going to give something to it, That's pretty true. I think ma'am wants to add on.
Yeah, I just wanted to move to the second round, as Anshu ma'am very clearly said that when we go in for an interview, we are observed, and then we check, we see, and if we have to move ahead with the candidate or not. So, but nowadays what has happened after pandemic, that we have been into a virtual world. Like everyone is emphasizing कि ma'am virtual कर ले तो चलेगा क्या interview. So yes, okay, because we have been into that, we are also learning that how we have to do a Zoom interview, and we are into so many Zoom interviews every day down the line we are doing. So with the panelists, I just wanted to understand that how do we compare a virtual interview with a face-to-face interview, the merits and the demerits of both? Because nowadays the candidates, they really feel कि मुंबई जाना क्यों नहीं, यहाँ से interview हो जाए, या candidate wants to come back to Kanpur, मैम interview online कर लीजिए. So it is like that. So I just wanted to have views of the panelists. Mr. Farhan.
Rightly said. The new normal is virtual virtual piece that has taken an integral thing in our life. I, as an HR, I've been doing lots and lots of interviews. Prior to pandemic, it was more of a face-to-face. Candidates, क्या होता था? Everybody, whosoever we shortlisted or sourced or screened, we used to call them, and it was mandatory for us. यार बंदे को तो बुलाना है यार. बिना देखे तो कैसे ले लेंगे? How to go and hire a candidate whom we haven't met? Yeah. Post-pandemic, what has happened is things have changed drastically. You would not believe. होता क्या है कि as in I'm not talking about freshers. I'm talking about all those higher, or as in the senior level positions. I'm talking about VPs or general managers or AVPs in the organization. I'm really proud to go and share it with you that I have closed those positions online. We haven't called them here to Kanpur or to our Gurgaon office, but we were able to go and meet them. We were able to meet them virtually, and we had closed those positions, which was wonderful. One thing that is very, very evident in Zoom or virtual or these things are that your true personality, कई बार ऐसा होता है, I am very conscious, camera conscious, okay. जब कोई कैमरा मेरे सामने आ जाए तो I get very conscious and I am not able to go and concentrate on that. Similarly, I am sure मेरे जैसे हजारों होंगे जब there is a video camera on your face and you're talking, probably your thoughts would not be there, in place. So that's where this is a big challenge for a lot of people. मैं बहुत अच्छा हो सकता हूँ in my skills, मेरे skills बहुत अच्छे होंगे, but मैंने कैमरा देखा and I got conscious. I am not able to go and talk well. So क्या इसका मतलब ये है कि मेरे पास वो skills नहीं है? That is one thing. That is a challenge that is there for sure. Second challenge is the casual attitude. मैम कार में ले लें, सर कार में ले लें इंटरव्यू, सर अभी होटल में है, बहुत आवाज़ आ रही है, बट क्या करें, वॉशरूम चले जाएं, वॉशरूम, कैन यू बीट दैट? तो वॉशरूम में इंटरव्यू, इमेजिन. Exactly. और पता है, things have changed, boys and girls here. आप बहुत smart हो, but there are smarter people than you guys across the world. Please understand this. मेरे लिए this is very normal for to go on Zoom now. I have become very habitual. कैमरे के सामने मैं बात कर सकता हूँ. But honestly speaking, thoughts नहीं आएंगे. कई बार ऐसा होगा, there will be a lot of technical glitch. Technical glitch समझते हो? Well, I am talking, but then एकदम से मेरी आवाज़ चली गई. या वीडियो रुक गया. Now I have to start again the entire thing. So is it a challenge or not? Tell me. It's a big challenge, यार. मैं एक flow में कुछ बात कर रहा हूँ, एकदम से light चली जाए, and then I have to start again. That's a big challenge, right? So this is also a new normal, and you have to really understand the situation. So that's also. मतलब मैं तो normally what I do is I ask these candidates to join at least 10 minutes early in any of the virtual calls. In fact, all my team members, they do the same. We call everybody 10 minutes early. कितने भी technical glitch होंगे, these 10 minutes would help me save my life and his life also. So this is how it is.
So virtual interviews are not very new to me. I'll share my story. I had worked for mathematics. I was only alone in India, and all our offices were global. So it was bound to happen that we have to finish our interview calls virtually. But when I moved into more traditional companies, I wanted to introduce that the footfall should be lesser, right? And the process of interview should be more compact. Rather than keeping it for 15 days of interview process, getting time from functional heads, they sit through interview, they say today is not possible, some other day. Right. Then again, communicating to the candidate for the reschedule. So I was very keenly interested going on digital format. I don't know, pandemic gave me that opportunity. We had no other option. Our business offices were closed, lockdown, and we had to hire people. So we closed all level across, be it fresher, be it experienced one, be it a business manager, whosoever it is. We were able to close it online. Challenges, yes, of course. Technical glitches are there. Video ruk gaya, आवाज रुक गया. But we were not able to, my functional heads were not able to judge whether ऐसा वाकई में हुआ था क्या? Does it really happen or he had no answer to it? Yeah, if someone does not understand, so he will be silent. Doesn't sound like a statue. I have seen the interviews. You know? So we especially make sure that candidate is at the right place. Good connectivity has been checked. Even we go to that level, we say the light focus should be from the back, but not from the front of your camera. So these all specifications, since my boss told me once, we are undergoing a digital transformation itself in our organization. As a print media, we never thought that we venture into digital format, right? So in these 2 years, we were transformed into that. So all the processes were transforming. Every department heads were having their own targets of digital transformation. And this gave me an opportunity to build up on digital formats of interviews. So I take it as a boon to me. But yes, of course, there are challenges. Digital formats will not give you much of scope because when you are in person, you can ask for time or something, or there's lots of aura between the two people talking together personally, right? Digital will give you no scope. You will have to be very well prepared for the interview process. I understand if you are camera conscious, right? You will not be able to deliver your interviews very at the level which efficiently, yes, of course, efficiently. But that's the call, that's the demerit of moving into digital transformation. That's
Totally agree with you, and the tips given are also correct somewhere. And students minded that I would just advise to you to have an awesome platform where you will be having an open session and where you can ask all your doubts, all your queries, something that you really want to understand, that how you can be a good candidate for any organization or what are people in the HR are looking forward. With this, Sumit sir, your viewpoints, please.
See, basically, I come from a industry where we hire skill-based person. 80% of our employees, they are skill-based. So for me, virtual was not a big problem because हम लोग अभी भी ये करते हैं कि we meet the person, candidate in the person, and we take trials because we are into some such kind of industries where machine handling is there. Then we have various kinds of welding processes. जब तक like education doesn't matter. Again, education doesn't matter. Skills is thing which matters. So for me, it was not a big task. However, for the yes, I'll say for the senior positions, we did some kind of virtual tools. It was very hard for the management to shift to that part because initially उन्होंने वो start किया. It was a new thing. Zoom was a new thing for us. And when we started, I was sitting at my home. Emily was there. Then and
the candidate was there, I was speaking to the MD, sir इसको click करिए तो start होगा. अब now he is saying मैं किसको click करूँ? So it was practically a kind of experience जो start उन्होंने किया. However, that was not a big thing, but initially yes, it was a big task for us. We did it.
कैसे आप ये तय करेंगे कि ये सॉफ्ट स्किल वाला व्यक्ति हार्ड स्किल भी आती है, मतलब टेक्निकल भी इसको आता है, जैसे ही इंडिया अब वहाँ तो मैकेनिकल सारा काम है और सारा मैं समझता हूँ कि हार्ड स्किल जरूर आनी चाहिए rather than soft. ये बात बिल्कुल ठीक है कि फॉर द लास्ट 3-4 years we are just converting ourselves to the virtual field. Everything is becoming virtual. सब आभासी हो रहा है, सब कुछ आभास, लोग कस्टम हो गए हैं. और आज के नए के जो न्यू स्टूडेंट्स हैं, न्यू जनरेशन है, उनके लिए प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो सकती. प्रॉब्लम में भी फॉर द जनरेशन विच आई बिलोंग टू. तो ये जो हार्ड स्किल हो इसका कोई रिलेवेंस होगा कि नहीं? मुझे लगता है कि आज भी बहुत से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में कॉर्पोरेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन दे डू नॉट बिलीव वेरी मच ऑन द सॉफ्ट स्किल. वो नहीं करते, वो चाहते हैं. अदरवाइज भी ये सारी इंस्टीट्यूशन क्यों चलेंगे? तो इंटरव्यू के बाद उनकी इंटरव्यू में मिडिल लेवल तक उन्होंने एजुकेशन ले ली, फिर वो MBA करने के लिए क्यों 2 साल यहाँ लगाए, 3 साल के इंस्टीट्यूट में लगाए. आपके इंटरव्यू ऐसे बहुत से लोग हैं इंटरव्यू लिए हुए जिनको सॉफ्ट स्किल बहुत आती है, लेकिन कैसे आप उसको जज करेंगे? इसकी सॉफ्ट स्किल आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए जो भी काम है वो पूरा कर पाएगा. मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा यही मेरे दिमाग में.
को बुलाने का एक मकसद ये भी था सबके साथ बैठ के डिस्कस करने का, स्टूडेंट्स को भी दिखाने का कि ये बात को समझें कि जैसे आपने कहा कि सॉफ्ट स्किल्स तो 11th या 12th के बाद भी आ सकती हैं, तो एक डिग्री लेने की क्या ज़रूरत है. तो वही मकसद था कि डिग्री जिस तरीके से इम्पोर्टेंट है उस तरीके से ये स्किल्स भी आज के टाइम पे कहीं ना कहीं क्या ज़रूरी है. क्या ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन चीज़ों को भी एम्फेसिस दे रही है? जैसे स्टूडेंट्स कभी कभी रिलेक्टेंट हो जाते हैं समझने में कि इनको चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए डिग्री. आपने जैसे कहा था सर कि डिग्री ही खाली देना या लेना मकसद नहीं होना चाहिए.
नहीं, ये एग्री. मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि इससे सॉफ्ट स्किल से बड़े फायदे भी हुए. कंपनीज को फायदा हुआ, उनकी कॉस्ट कटिंग हुई है, उनके तमाम प्रकार के जो आप करते थे वो नहीं हुआ है. लेकिन एक कंपनी के लिए जो HR है उनके लिए प्रॉब्लम, जैसे मैंने कहा कि आपको जिस प्रकार के व्यक्ति की चाहिए उसकी स्किल आपको पहले से बहुत तय करना है और उसका प्रमोट करना पड़ेगा, सो डैट द स्टूडेंट्स ऑल ओवर द कंट्री, ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड वो उसको सीख सके कि भाई मुझे यहाँ अप्लाई करना है तो मुझे ये चीज़ें आनी चाहिए. ये चीज़ें आपको पहले बिल्कुल क्लियरली स्पेसिफाई करनी पड़ेगी. और मैं समझता हूँ कि ये जब हो जाएगा तो डिग्री की आवश्यकता तो बनी रहेगी हमेशा. मैं समझता हूँ आज भी डिग्री की आवश्यकता नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि जितने हाई पोजिशन में जाएंगे वहाँ केवल आप इसको कितनी सॉफ्ट स्किल आती है उसके बेसिस पर आप कोई जॉब, उसको आना जरूरी है सॉफ्ट स्किल, लेकिन उसको अपनी नॉलेज होनी चाहिए.
कोई काम करेगा तो उसे टेक्निकली तो आना ही चाहिए.
आने चाहिए. अभी भी डिग्रीज की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी, लेकिन सब लोग उसको पढ़ें ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. जो मिडिल लेवल है वो सॉफ्ट स्किल से चल सकता है, जो उसके नीचे का है, लेकिन टॉप लेवल पर जाने के लिए केवल सॉफ्ट स्किल जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. मेरे मन में ये एक कंफ्यूजन था जिसको आप
I have something to add on to this. Since I see that MCA students are also there, right? MCA is specifically why I'm talking, because they are into very technical thing, right? How many of you are on the forum of IT solutions? The Saraka Hank hai? Any other forum you are into it? So you understand why I asked this question. जब मेरे पास limited resources होंगे to access your technical knowledge, I will go through the certified knowledge base. Hacker rank में आपकी rank क्या है? Other forums में आप कैसे respond करते हो? How will you respond to it? And that is a global ranking you get upon your contribution towards those platforms and forums. So that certifies and adds value to your CV. where you are a fresh MCA graduate. So technical skills can be mapped through there. We have a functional test, जहाँ पे it is a mandatory process, जहाँ पे when we line up candidates for the interview, before that we need to undergo a functional test. So functional test will decide upon whether the candidate will go further or not. Pandemic has given, why soft skill is more emphasized upon, pandemic has given an opportunity to corporates to cut down, I will not say rather cut down, I will say further optimize the workforce. Right? कभी-कभी दिल की बात निकल जाती है. Very hard work for HR to do that. So we call it optimization of the workforce. So now the culture of an organization has become more of collaborative nature. Accountant is not only responsible for maintaining his account books, is also responsible for procurement. He is also responsible for negotiating with the vendors and responding to the other various departments. So it is more of collaboration, communication. So the job role has become complex now, with less number of people working for. अगर मेरे पास 100 लोग उस काम को करते थे तो आज की डेट में 70 people are working doing that. So how it is possible? We are building up upon their soft skills. Like I said, for MCA graduates, if you move into IT companies, right, you are also interacting with the clients. You are not just a developer. I have seen candidates who have been, because I have spent 11 years into IT and ITS industry. So I have seen people who have been working for 7 years and have been a senior coder or a senior developer. But someone who has worked for 4.5 years, 5 years has become a project coordinator. A client interface is there, a development interface is there. So these all job roles are now optimized. It is not only limited that you know your engineering skills well. It is how you deal with the client. It is not the sales team will only deal with the client. It is the developer who is developing a project will also have to deal with the client. And unfortunately, IT industry में क्या है, all clients are foreigners, right? Domestic development are very less. So you have to have a communication skills, collaborative. You have to understand the culture, how the client is, what you should speak, what you should not talk, what you should talk to him. Like I'll say, they are very particular about the timings. They often say we, as a HR, we used to get a PMS feedbacks. We have a system where client submits a feedback, and if there is an if there is an employee feedback, it gets routed to the HR department. And they say if you are going to be late by 5 minutes, you inform me prior 10 minutes. Right? As per the schedule, time will not be able to make up, say whatever the time is. So all these traits add up value to your core job. We say core skills or the hard skills. So it is very important. Definitely, degree establishes that you are qualified to take up the job. Because it is our convenience to understand that.
I think very correctly and rightly said also. With this, ma'am, you wanted to add something. I saw you very excited.
Actually, I really wanted to add a lot of things. Many people have spoken now. So, like as we look at an organization, so like in our understanding, we divide the organization into 3 levels: a junior level, a middle level, and a higher level. So when we talk about the junior level, I think so the panelists will agree. We don't see that much of a soft skill is required. We think that more of a technical, if a person is able to do, we go ahead with that. But as far as middle level is concerned, then we see that this person has to manage a team also. So the part of team management is required, decision making is required. So a little bit of soft skills are generally essential. But once a person reaches technical will be there, but the maximum would be that how are you managing your people? Because people management at last is the most important thing. If we are not able to manage our people, we are looking into attrition. As in the morning also we were discussing that attrition has become something which is uncontrollable nowadays. It is very difficult to manage the attrition. So how to do that? So if an organization or people in the organization have that soft skill, if they are able to attract their team, as we rightly say that people never leave organization, they leave their bosses. So if a boss is not able to manage the team, then technical definitely would be there. But if a person is soft skills are stronger, definitely the team would like to be stay with the boss.
Correctly said. Anshu ma'am, we understand that as ma'am said that managing people is very, very important. How do you think, what is your view on this?
See, I think I just mentioned this to Professor Divya that why do BTechs go for an MBA program? This is the most common trend that we've noticed in recent times. And the purpose is balancing the technical skills maybe with the soft skills. That is one reason, because any technical person who's a BTech or MCA, you would always find that they're taking up some managerial position. And if you're taking up a managerial job, definitely you need to handle people around you. If you are a manager in the organization, and I think the way you communicate, the sentences, the words that you use makes a lot of difference. And it's not only about, when you are a manager or when you are working in an organization, I think otherwise also in the society. Sometimes there is one word in the sentence that a person is using, it can, make or mar a relationship. It can either build a very strong relationship or it can spoil a very good relationship. Many times you must have heard people saying that maybe people from this side, Lucknow and Kanpur, they're very soft spoken. They use a tone which is very friendly. But if you talk about people from the western UP or maybe from Haryana, you find at times that makes a lot of difference. When we come across people in our own department, there are some who are from that area, and sometimes the person says something and we feel very bad about it, and we naturally start reacting to it. How dare he speak to me in that particular tone, in that particular language? So culture is different in different areas, and that also influences the way we speak. So everything we communicate becomes very important, and I think the first very important thing is that when you speak something to somebody else, just speak that to yourself and find out whether it can hurt somebody. The idea never should be to embarrass the person sitting right in front of you, and that's a trait, that's a skill. So how do you react to people's opinion? How do you talk to people? How do you communicate to people? That makes a lot of difference. So even in your own family, there's one way of saying something to your father. There is another way maybe of saying something to a younger brother or a younger sister. But then you have to have an idea as to what can actually build the bond between you and the other person. So I wouldn't restrict that to the surroundings of an organization. I would say everywhere and anywhere, you require human relations skills. If you can't relate with people, you will not be a good member of your family. And if you are not a good member of a family, you are a frustrated person. You can never be a successful person in the organization. So that makes a lot of difference.
Very straightforwardly put up, but very correctly put up also. I think everybody would agree to it. Sure. Answer, I was coming to you only.
Very rightly said by Sir that professional degrees, they play a very important role. I'll tell you why. There's a reason for it. Paid, एक पेड़ का you've seen a seed, right? All of us, कभी हमने किसी पेड़ को लगाया है? Right? Have you really nurtured that pear, as in that tree or that plant? This is what education does with us. And this is what is education doing with us. When you start off as a base, if your base is really strong, it will take you to places. Education definitely is a very, very vital component component in your success. आज की डेट में अगर मैं MBA या BTech करके आया हूँ यहाँ पर, so that knowledge is with me. Had it been, I have not done it, I would have acquired that knowledge in my job. But I have an edge from the others that yes, I have that knowledge in me. I am prepared for it. अगर आप वो seriously ले रहे हो तो, if you're not taking this course of yours seriously, then you are at big loss. You understanding what my point? You understanding everybody? Yes. मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ, if you're here in this organization, I'm sorry, in this institution, and you're learning some skills, please go ahead and give your 200% right now. This is the time to go and give it. Because जब आप मेरे सामने या मेरे सारे colleagues के सामने आओगे ना, that is your testing period. कि आप क्या सीख के आए. Freshers, I'm open to go and take freshers, but उतनी knowledge तो हो उनको. That is why people say कि यार organizations जो हैं आजकल freshers लेती नहीं. But what is the other side of it? Please understand the other side of it. Everything has two sides to it, right?
I think I would want to talk about the other side also, because as I said, we are with you for 2 years and we are trying to groom you in every way, whether it is about the way you dress up. Sometimes we have to point that out also. You probably have a uniform, but in the university sometimes we have to point out about everything that students are doing, and I think the reason behind that is we consider ourselves to be your guardians also. That's also one of the reasons. So we feel that when you are here in the institute for 2 years, you completely belong to us. So anything right and wrong that we see, we do point out. It's not like okay, ऐसे ही time है करने को, वो नहीं होता है. So many a times we have to make you understand what is right and what is wrong, and that's our responsibility also. Because as teachers, we are building societies, and we want obviously to build societies that are strong enough, who can hold on to their culture, and who can in every way make their people successful. So that's what we are doing. But what's happening, मैंने पहले mention किया that 10%. So I think all teachers sitting here would agree with me that all the motivation and every hard work that we're putting in the class, at times we're teaching and we're sweating, and it requires energy. Actually, when you come and stand here and when you deliver a lecture continuously for 1 hour, it requires energy. And for whom are we spending that energy? Just trying to build up your knowledge. And what really happens is, so we observe that I covered a certain point one day, and the next day when I begin my class, I would often ask them, what is it that you didn't understand today? Please raise your queries first so that now we can move ahead with the next topic. And there are rarely questions for us. And if I ask a question, you probably feel embarrassed, and maybe from the next day onwards you'll stop attending my class, right? But then I always say that asking questions, and if teachers are asking you questions, the motive is not to embarrass you. Always remember that your teacher is not standing in front of you to embarrass you. We are only trying to, because see, when you sit in front of these experts, you are supposed to answer their questions. And how would you answer their question if you don't know how to convince me? In the classroom, if you can convince me with your answers, probably you'll feel so confident one day, because how many of you speak in the class? How many of you participate in the discussion that is going on in the class? Just 10% of you. Rest 90%, they're actually hiding behind the people. They want to take the last seat. They don't want to be noticed. No. If you are pursuing a management course and if you can't face people, then that's a big disadvantage. So I think what Sir was saying was absolutely right. But then what are we doing? We are trying to give you opportunity. What about presentations in the class? Why do you think you're given presentations? Many a times students say that teachers want to get rid of their responsibility of teaching, and they ask students to probably present on a particular topic. But the idea behind that is to make you stand here in front of a large crowd. It's not easy to stand in front of a large crowd and express your opinion openly without reading out from a paper, right? So many times we ask you to prepare your presentations and PowerPoint presentations at times, and then we ask you to deliver your presentation without any paper. The idea is when you express your opinion 2 times, 3 times in the class, you'll become so confident that when you sit before them, you can never be a possibility. I don't know whether you've heard about COs and POs, the program outcomes and the course outcomes, and there's so much of mapping going on between the COs and POs because of the NAC requirement. But then those COs and POs you'll have to understand, and once you are able to you imbibe all this, you will not listen this kind of a complaint that what amount of knowledge do you possess when you sit before them. So we're making every effort. So I've told you what is happening on the other front, and I hope that in the coming times these will be a knowledgeable lot, and when they sit before you, you'll always feel, wow, now I want more of freshers rather than people who are experienced in a particular
So my students are very motivated. They will be coming to you with the same fulfilling all. Like, ma'am, I totally agree with you. ये पेन तो हम सारी फैकल्टीज फेस करते हैं. आज जो पढ़ाया कल रिवाइज नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि ऑडियंस ही बदल जाती है. 10% of the students who are regular are usually there and next day. Half of or many of you would not be the same. So where to start from, the scratch or in between is always a question and a dilemma in the minds of the faculties and teachers also. As well as Farhan sir, I totally agree with you, and Abhishek sir also, that you said that today not only the degree matters, but what matters more is how multifaceted you are. We are not doing only one job at a time. If anybody we pick up among us, or maybe look up the various case studies or various people, good people around us whom we want to be taken up as role models, we'll see that the degrees they might have acquired are added along with the type of deliveries or the work they are doing, maybe for the society, for the organizations, or for themselves, or because we all are working multifaceted. Not only what has been taught to us, that is why we are also focusing always that please acquire different skills. क्योंकि जैसे आपने कहा कि 18 सेकंड में जज करते हैं या 20 सेकंड में जज करते हैं, एक कागज जब आपके पास आता है फेस टू फेस स्टूडेंट नहीं होता है तो वो शायद 20 पन्ने सब एक जैसे लगते हैं सीवी पे. सबके में वही क्वालिफिकेशंस लिखी होती हैं. आई थिंक यू विल अग्री विथ मी दैट व्हाट आर यू डिफरेंटली लुकिंग अप. एज सुमित सर इनिशियली सेड आपकी समर ट्रेनिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स, उन्होंने कहा कि और क्या, और वो अपस्किलिंग है जो उसमें आप ऐड करते हो कि मैंने ये किया है, मैंने ये लर्न किया है. दैट इज हाउ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस आई थिंक टुडे लुक अपॉन दैट हाउ वैल्यूएबल यू आर टू देम और व्हाट additional contributions you can give to their organization. I just wanted to add this thing because somewhere or the other I keep emphasizing this thing with you all, and sitting on a platform might give it a better stamp to it. Right. Sumit sir, something with you I would like to know as the father experience you all everybody hold. Sir, आजकल एक मैंने देखा है कि यंगस्टर्स और जो सीनियर लोग होते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में एक गैप है. लाइक लोग पहले जैसे हम लोग कहते थे कि प्रमोशंस मिलते थे, एंड विद द प्रमोशंस वन राइजेस. It's said that you are 20 years in the industry, 30 years in the industry, and the more time you spend, then you get promotions, then you go higher. But today a trend is seen that in organizations, I'm not pretty sure, is it or is it not, it might be my doubt, that today the new talent, the new faces are joining in the higher positions, or preferably they are being invited or giving internal promotions, rather they look up for youngsters or from different various institutions. Is it motivating, demotivating, or how does the HR look at it?
See, for the freshers, I can say like if they are being appointed and on the higher designation, so we always look for a fresh kind of talent. What freshness or what new skills that person can bring to us. Because let's say if a company or if a department is running and that department is running in the same orthodox manner, you want to introduce something कि ये नया बंदा आएगा, कुछ नया क्या लाएगा, because new generation they are tech savvy, they are extrovert, so we want to see what kind of experience, in fact not experience, what kind of freshness they can bring to us. So their ideas, maybe their out of the box thinking, this is what we see in case. Or generally there is one demerit I would say in the freshers nowadays, they don't stick to a job. 2 साल 3 साल they know कि after 3 years we have to switch. So if you want, we get some kind of promotions. आपको company promotions लेनी है, you want to have some kind of awards, stick to the company. Otherwise, what you do for a kind of increment in other company, you switch, but you don't get promotions. Because 1 year or 2 years is a very very small time to know the company. आप 6 महीने साल भर में तो company जान पाते हो exactly what the company is. Once you start performing, 2 years down the line, you say, okay, I'm resigning, I'm moving to another company. This also reflects bad thing in your CV also. हम लोग जब भी कभी experienced person देखते हैं, I always look कि this person has average उसमें कितना है, 2 years रहा है किसी कंपनी में, या average उसका total period कितना रहा है, how in that average how many companies he or she has changed. So that also is a very important thing. If the person, if you are going to join any kind of company, just stick to a company for at least for few years. You should know the company, you should add some kind of knowledge to the company, and I believe the promotions and awards will follow.
Thank you so much. I think Abhishek sir answer will also be agreeing with what sir is adding to it. Now, with this, I think the time is running short because everybody is so busy over here, and I think we all have to go back. Let's go for an open house session so that we have talked enough. We have tried to share with you what is there, required, looked upon by the various corporate heads over here. Let's see, is there anything that you want to know from them? You are free to ask any question. Just raise your hand and somebody will come up with the mic.
Dear all, session is open for questions. Please raise your hand to ask the question.
Question is that is there any preference for male or female while hiring? Yes, sir. Farhan sir, I think please.
Look, it all depends. What's your name?
Ayush.
Ayush. It all depends on the kind of a job that we have actually rolled out. There are at times, I think at times there are jobs which would require a female or a lady. You know, that's, I'm not trying to bifurcate or, term somebody, and then it's not a gender differentiation that I'm doing. But there are a lot of things which are better done by ladies or than a male, or a female than a male. So that's one thing. Number two, there are a lot of things. Just as, say for example, we have a lot of positions wherein I think girls can go and manage a team very well. Just as they manage their home, they manage teams also very well. So this is also where we give priority to females, there. So it all depends, But not to go and demean, I'm also a male, come on. I would not demean anybody, but it is just that yes, we do have preferences somewhere or the other, wherein we would like to go and look out for either a male or a female for a position, and that's very obvious.
Thank you, sir.
We basically hire males. Reason being, most of our business is around the sites. Sites are remote. जंगल में है, गांव में है, कहाँ है पता नहीं. So we hire males, but yes, for the official job, yes, there is no preference. Male, females, anything. Yes.
If you see the panel, we are like 4 people from the industry, and in HR, so only 1 female, there are 3 males. Earlier it was said that HR is only a forte of females. So that's how it is.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, what advice you would like to give to students of management and computer applications who are going to complete their course shortly?
Be natural, be normal, be very, very natural, don't fake anything. This is something that I would like to give advice. What you know is what you know. What you don't know, be very, very honest about it. Say, I learned. That's very important. Okay, that's my advice. I think panelists are there, they know.
And be open to learning. I mean, if this bottle is all full, I want to put something more here. It will go out.
more thing.
Very important.
Practice Excel as much as you can.
Please.
बिना Excel के कुछ नहीं होता है. Right? Excel and advanced Excel.
If you want to excel in your career, learn Excel.
अब Google Sheets भी आ गया आजकल.
All of you are going for advanced Excel course now? How many hands up now? My God, look at Any more question or we can
Now we have.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to ask, sir, that in which ratio we need to prepare ourselves, like in which ratio we need to prepare ourselves with soft skills and hard skills, in which ratio they matter. This is what I want to ask, sir.
What's your name?
Sir, Divyansh.
Divyansh.
Yes.
And you are a student of
MBA.
MBA?
Yes. Second semester.
I think मेरे लिए तो initially as a fresher I would go and give more importance to it will be a mix and match, you know. At times 60-40 का ratio होगा when knowledge 60 and 40 soft skills, or 70 knowledge and 30 soft skills. क्योंकि initially you are too young to go out and understand all this. Slowly and gradually when you come in the industry you would understand what professionalism is all about. That's what I मेरे लिए तो ये professional knowledge very vital role. Initially तुम्हारा Divyansh, what you know is what is very important for me.
We can only develop soft skills with our hard skills. You are only confident when you know the knowledge.
When you have that content.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I think somebody from the last wanted to ask. Yeah, you wanted to ask a question.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, in an interview, there are sometimes a situation where we don't know the answer of a particular question. So, how we reply the question or deal with question or escape the situation with a positive image.
Don't escape, be honest.
Sir rightly said that you have to say. If you don't know, please say that you don't know.
What is your name? What is your name?
Vaibhav Vajpayee.
Huh?
Vaibhav Vajpayee.
Vaibhav. MBA, MCA?
MCA.
MCA. Vaibhav. Simple है. Sir, I'll learn. I don't know right now, I'll learn.
That's
Best
your
answer.
attitude.
Best answer. और तुम्हें वो खुश किया है. मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा. वही तो बोल रहा हूँ. I'll be happy.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, in an interview, can I ask to HR that what are the goals and what are the objectives of their company? So, can I cross question?
It is, see what is interview? Interview means both the parties are interacting their views. That is interview.
Because on that situation, we are only answer giving.
But on the offset ये नहीं कि आप अंदर घुसे और बताए कि आप बताइए मेरे को कितनी सैलरी मिलेगी, मेरा क्या क्या काम है, ट्रेनिंग क्या है, मेरा बताइए. Let the HR person first ask question from you. At the end of the session, you can say that I also have certain questions. This is the right time to ask to you. May I please do that? And you can ask. फिर ये मत पूछिएगा मेरी की सैलरी कितनी, कितनी छुट्टी, कितनी CL, कितनी ML, वो मत पूछिए please.
No, that is correct at last.
Yeah.
What is your name?
Thank you.
What is your name?
Pradyuman Tiwari.
Pradyuman. Pradyuman, be honest. एक question पूछ रहा हूँ, ठीक है?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. इनमें से किसकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का वेबसाइट तुम विजिट करके यहाँ बैठे हो? इसका आंसर दो.
No one.
That is what I want. People sitting here, everybody.
Except director, ma'am.
I'm talking about company website. I'm not about Facebook account. Okay. Listen to me, Pradyuman.
Yes, sir.
This is a question. This is a advice to everybody sitting here. कोई भी इंटरव्यू हो रहा है, कोई भी पैनलिस्ट आ रहा है या कुछ भी हो रहा है, visit their website, company website first.
Sure.
You will have thousands of questions and you will come up with thousands of ideas also. समझ रहे हो? Next time जब हम लोग यहाँ आएंगे hopefully, तो मैं पूछूंगा कि RSPL की वेबसाइट में क्या अच्छा लगा.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is basically practically I think all faculties will agree that जब हम लोग soft skills सिखाते हैं तो बात कहते हैं इंटरव्यू के पहले कि जहाँ आप इंटरव्यू देने जा रहे हैं एटलीस्ट उस वेबसाइट को स्टडी करो, उसके बारे में थोड़ा स्टडी करो. कोई करता नहीं है और आपको खुद ही नहीं पता आप जहाँ इंटरव्यू
Good afternoon, everyone. As sir rightly said that the new generation is extrovert, but some part of the new generation is introvert too. And there are people who have knowledge but have some kind of anxiety issues. So what advice will you give to us while going for an interview?
मेरे में anxiety issue है, to be very frank है. See, once you communicate with the person, आप जितना करोगे, जितना बात करोगे, right? So slowly you will develop the things, you will develop the confidence in you, right? This is what I can say कि this how much you can communicate. कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि शीशे के सामने खड़े होकर के just speak to yourself, but नहीं, I don't think so. ये ऐसा कुछ होता है. It's better if you read about, if you're going for an interview, read about the company. जैसे सर ने कहा, read about the company, you will have some confidence कि मैं कहाँ जा रहा हूँ या जा रही हूँ, right? And then once you are entering, just think कि इससे बुरा क्या होगा कि मुझे reject तो करेंगे, otherwise there's nothing bad. So just remove the negativity from your mind. Try to interact with your friends as much as you can, right? Anxiety has cannot be like unless until you will have some kind of experience at the time लोगों से बात नहीं करो तो नहीं, right? So it's upon you कि आप किस तरह से
I think anxiety and stress has both has a positive side and a negative side. And do you think that when we go for any class, we are not nervous at all? There is some kind of anxiety when we stand in front of the class, but the only thing is that is positive in nature. That helps us to prepare us well, and that helps us to deliver in a proper manner, because somehow, you know, the positive aspect is that I prepare myself. Anxiety कब होगी? When you are not aware of your subject, when you do not have any knowledge, तब anxiety होगी. When you are prepared, you can go and sit before, and that anxiety will actually help you to enhance your performance. So I think anxiety का जो positive side है, you must look into the positive side of anxiety. Anxiety is not bad. Anxiety is natural. It is never bad. So look at the positive side.
I'll add that there is nobody who stands over here does not have butterflies catching this stomach.
Right.
Everybody, we also, I think, somewhere or the other might be in a situation where we are also full of anxiety or stress or the way you put up. But as ma'am said, a positive attitude and a preparation, you know, will always help you to lead next step forward.
Just to add, be with the right set of people all the time. Be with positive people. मेरी बात समझ रहे हो? जितने भी आप सब यहाँ पे, just be with the right set of people. Don't be with negative people at all. वो vibes आ जाती हैं knowingly and unknowingly. एक दूसरे की. You understand?
And then yoga will help you.
And as Sumit sir said, this was the second last question, and the last question goes where? Prachi, wait. Let me take it.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am. My name is Ankita Sharma, and my question is, how are the communication skills are required other than technical skills?
I think this has been not my answer. You are not paying attention.
Ma'am, actually, I want to ask that is there any fresher who is having a degree in technical? So, is that impactful to you that he is good in and having a well communication skill but not good in technical skills? So, how should you?
May I reframe your question? You mean to say कि क्या technical skill अगर किसी इंसान में कम हो,
And also having a technical degree, but he is well communicator. So, how will be impactful to
क्या
you?
उसको preference पहले
Yeah.
मिलेगी? Is this your
Yes, ma'am.
question?
depends कि what is the job exactly. There are some I don't know back end जो technical issues solve करने के लिए होते हैं, they are good in communication. So once like maybe once you buy a laptop, let's say you get connected to the customer care, right? They are good in communications. They indulge you in things. पीछे से उनका communication चलता रहता है. I believe शायद उसके लिए call center में communications are being judged. So it is a absolute industry. There's no criteria.
It depends upon the industry or something to compete for. Industry specific, right? दैनिक जागरण what दैनिक जागरण क्या करता है दैनिक जागरण?
You give your example. Just state it and have it out.
State that example. Don't worry about the mic and light. You just continue. Continue.
So दैनिक जागरण सेल्स क्या बेचता है? अखबार बेचता है, न्यूज़पेपर, right? Which is plain news, a paper, right? We are in the business of communication. एक सादे कागज को उस पे अपने दिमाग को डालते हैं, बनाते हैं और उसको बेचते हैं. तो for me, soft skills are must. It depends upon the industry.
Plus, one more important thing to add in. Everybody would like to have presentable people in their office.
In today's scenario, as we see, hard skills are must, but as well as soft skills are also must. Either he's a MCA student or a MBA student. For MBA, soft skill and personality development skills are must, and for MC, hard skill and soft skills are must.
वैसे तुमने होमवर्क दे दिया, मुझे क्वेश्चन प्रिंट करना पड़ेगा तुम्हारे आंसर पर.
It's a good. I think what you're trying to say is that they go hand in hand. This is what you're saying, and they do. Knowledge और soft skill दोनों साथ में ही जाते हैं. I would not hire anybody who just have a soft skill.
अगर आप MBA की बात कर रहे हो, so MBA में finance is more technical as compared to maybe HR. Agree? So if finance is more technical, do you think only the soft skills will work? You have to have a command over the subject also. So it goes hand in hand.
And like initially, I
And even HR also, if I take from HR, if you don't know technicalities of labor law, then how will the soft skills help you? कि सर मैं अच्छे से बात तो कर लेती हूँ, पर मुझे ये नहीं पता है कि labor law क्या है. नहीं आता. So then, so technical is there.
मैंने आंसर किया था कि 60-40, 70-30 इनिशियली रेशियो ज़्यादा होता है नॉलेज और टेक्निकल की तरफ. और जैसे जैसे आप बढ़ते हैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस में, वहाँ पे
And
कॉम्बिनेशन
roles vary. If there is a role of a receptionist, then definitely for the receptionist we'll say कि हाँ ठीक है, communication आगे दिखने में ठीक हो, personality अच्छी, हाँ ठीक है, that person has to sit at the front office. So that is how it is. It is defined by the role itself.
So I think now if you have any more question with anybody from the panelists, you can share the questions with me on email, and I'll try getting them answered personally via them. Right? So you can just brainstorm yourself after the session also, and I think everybody will be pleased enough to answer your questions later on. Right? So with this, I think today's session ends over here with a very student-centric, holistic approach where we try to give you an understanding of the gaps that you must look upon how to fill up, and see that how a pragmatic roadmap can be created with your certification along with your knowledge base and the learnings or the professional degrees that you are acquiring from anywhere. With this, I pass on to Sara, please.
Okay, so we have a learned panel of experts gracing the occasion today. We are really glad to have you all here. It seems we all have enriched ourselves with valuable information and take always for better career